So here at Superbooth 2017 with Vaclav and the Bastl stand, absolutely amazing as usual. Few things to show us, but you just announced a new effects box, which I think you said is like a digital robot-controlled tape machine.
Exactly, yeah. So that's kind of how we nickname it. It might be a little bit confusing because like what's a robot-operated digital tape machine, but maybe we can just get into it. Basically, like the panel a little bit explains this signal flow. So you can imagine like there is a tape running through the machine. So you have the input with the input gain. You write the signal onto the tape. The tape is spinning at some speed, and sometime later you have the reading head, and that picks up the signal and it's delayed. And it's really inspired by those tape machines where you could actually manually move the read head to move back and forth in time. That's also where the name Thyme comes from.
Yeah.
And so basically, we call it digital tape machine. So if you slow down the tape with the tape speed, the digital tape is made of bits and bytes. So you get the downsampling,
Crunching character.
Exactly, yeah. And so basically, there is one main read head, and you position it with the coarse and fine. You can like move just through the tape like really quickly with the coarse, and with the fine is especially interesting with the feedback. And there is also like a filter in the feedback.
Sounds like what I would imagine a digital robot tape sounds like.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It has like a lot of like really like intense characters you can get, but you can also get it like in very controlled way. It really depends how much feedback do you add. And then there is like 3 more read heads, so it's like a multi-tap delay, and those you control with the levels and the spacing. So you can get like much then
spreading of the tape read heads.
Yeah. So the spacing is like spreading them, distributing them, and the levels they add like the levels of those read heads. So you can be like in the rhythmical domain, but you can also get to the like tonal domain with the spacing like being really short. And then you have a dry wet mix, so this is the dry signal, and you have the volume. And this is altogether 9 parameters, and each of them have their own robot.
Oh, okay.
And the robot, that's this section with the R. And basically the robot is a modulation source. And with the robot select button, here you can like select different wave shapes for the robot being an LFO, or it can be like a random voltage generator, but it can be also like an envelope follower that's analyzing the input signal, and also external CV input.
Okay, wow.
So, and each of the 9 parameters has its own robot. So there is 9 modulation sources in the machine.
Yeah, wow.
So you can get really wild, and let me just try to get the robot going. So to get it going, I hold the robot select that I want to do it on the delay fine tune, and just add some amount.
So it's really fast to assign modulation.
Yeah, so basically it like the workflow is really fast. The robot is quite wide range, so you can do like audio rate modulation, and especially like if you're into like time-based effects and what's under the hood, you can like get to do like pitch shifters and a lot of like interesting stuff by modulating the delay times at audio rate.
Yeah, wow.
And
it sounds great.
yeah, thanks. And now, like the thing about the robot is that there is this stereo mode, and basically the stereo mode inverts the phase of the modulation for left and right channel.
Okay, so it's kind of like an auto panner, but on delay modulation or filter modulation.
Yeah, exactly. But or anything. But it could work also for the envelope follower. Yeah. So like the envelope follower can react different for left and right channel, and yeah, let's get it more modulated. And you can also select like the polarity of the modulation. So now we're already getting to the crazy region.
Just quickly, can we take that back to the dry and then the wet again?
So this is the dry. This is the wet. And you can also like modulate the dry wet, also in stereo. So
that has its own stereo robot as well.
Yeah, exactly. And because there is the envelope follower, you can also do dynamic effects like auto filtering or compressor if you do it on the volume. So, yeah.
What are the inputs and outputs on this? We've got the input that you said for CV. Have we got stereo in, stereo out?
Yeah, so we've got stereo in, that's like in one jack, but it's stereo, and you can select whether the input is stereo or mono. Then there is a stereo output, headphone output, also stereo with volume control. And then you have external clock. And you can use the clock to sync either the robot or the delay time. But then there is also a sequencer on top of that. I'll get to that in a minute. And you can also clock the sequencer externally. And the clock is quite wide range, so you can also like audio rate clock the delay time.
Wow, so it's 9 oscillators if you want instead of the LFOs.
Yeah, totally. And then you have like MIDI in and out. And it responds to MIDI CCs for everything, and a CV output, a CV input. And the interesting thing about the delay time and the tape speed is that they are both when the delay time is short, like in the audio rate, you can do like the color plus strong voices. And the delay time when controlled with the CV input, it's watt per octave.
Okay, wow.
And also the tape speed is watt per octave. So it's like very tunable and a very like car plus.
Really well integrated for other hardware as well.
Yeah. And then like if you use the MIDI input and you play notes on the keyboard, you can also use that to tune the delay time or the tape speed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. We shouldn't skip past the new little dude mixer.
Yeah. So the dude mixer. Let me turn this down a little bit. So you have 5 channels, 5 inputs, and each channel has a mute button with a gain control, and the gain is up to plus 20 decibel. So it's quite some gain, so you can like mix, I don't know, piezo pickups with line level signals in it. It's pretty wide range, but also you can like saturate the line signals.
Yeah, when the input's a little hot, there's loads of distortion if you want to push it.
Yeah, totally. And if you oversaturate it, it's really like a distortion box as well. And,
Great.
And it runs on 4 AA batteries or external power. So
just couldn't escape the little guy being there as well. Moving over again, we've got the long-awaited aluminium panels for the Bastl modular range.
Yeah, so I guess we've been getting quite a lot of requests for those, so we'll see what happens now. And yeah, basically we're doing the full, or let's say like almost every module we're doing like in aluminum now. We're gonna start selling those 1st of May. And basically we're not gonna sell the panels themselves. We're gonna sell the modules with the panels.
Yeah.
And because you know, people already noticed somebody released those panels that they don't really fit on the
Some
module.
of the alternate panels that other people make. I'm not using myself, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, so like, I mean, you can make them fit, but it's a bit tricky. And we're thinking of like offering the service that if you send us the module, we can exchange the panel for you.
Yeah, that's it. That's much easier.
But we kind of don't really want people to change the panels themselves because it doesn't really work.
Yeah. Well, great. Again, an absolutely amazing booth as last year. Things all over. Great. Thanks for running us down Thyme, Dude, the aluminium modular stuff.
Yeah, we also have like one new module.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah, so that's right here. That's the Kong, and the Kong is a module that interfaces drum pads with a Eurorack. So
We've seen all weekend people hammering away on these pads.
yeah, they drum here all the time. And so this one module it can interface two pads, two inputs. Each of them has a gain control, so no matter what your pads are, you can always boost the signal to get the best sort of resolution on the velocity output. So you get a trigger output and a velocity output. So with every hit there is like a sample and hold circuit that samples the loudness and keeps very steady voltage, like super low drift, so you can really use it to reconfigure the whole patch like pretty easily.
Okay, wow. I mean, you just this stuff all around us.
Yeah.
It's amazing to walk past.
Yeah, so basically like this thing here, like it's we call it a bucket filter. So so it's like a purely mechanical filter, and so there is some things happening, like those motors hitting things inside, and when the bucket slides on, it filters out the high frequencies.
Okay.
Doesn't fully close, you know, like
No.
the topology is a little bit flawed, but
We've got the toothbrush shaker.
oh yeah, and the egg shaker because it was Easter, you know, last week, and a new cowbell over here. So
A religious event celebrating egg shaker.
Right, yeah, totally.
Well, great. Thanks for running us down everything.
There's one more thing.
One more thing.
One
Go
more
on.
thing, and people are jamming out hard on this one, and it's a new machine by Peter Edwards, Casper Electronics, and can you take the softPop? So this is the dude, this is Peter, and this is his new machine. You want to say something?
Do I want to say something? Yeah, so it's a totally portable, completely modular analog synthesizer. And you've got a full patch bay here. And you've got two voltage-controlled oscillators, oscillator 0 and 1, and a voltage-controlled filter with low-pass, band-pass, and high-pass output. And but the real idea with it was that you would navigate through the instrument just by playing with these sliders, so that you can kind of develop your own intuitive way of playing it. But at its core, it's a robust, raw analog synthesizer. And it's battery-powered, USB-powered, wall-powered, and then you've got jacks here so you can connect to the outside world, and you can interface with your modular synth. And
The ins and outs that we've got on the back.
well, first of all, you've got an external audio input. So right now he's processing a drum machine, which you can hear in the background. And then as far as the patch bay, well, first of all, you've got these 3 jacks which go to here. And that allows you to interface between the modular synths in here. And then you've got your oscillators with your modulation inputs, CV and sync, and then your square and triangle outputs. So both of your oscillators have that. And then your filter, you've got your inputs, your CVs, your low pass, band pass, high pass output. You have a track and hold with clock in, signal in, and output. Then you've got mixes of the 2 oscillators, an envelope follower, and then you have a pattern generator. And the pattern generator records the pitch of this oscillator and outputs a sequence from that you can use to modulate other things. And it also has an auto-tune feature.
Hey, wow.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff all packed in here.
There's a little mini patch bay as well.
Little mini patch bay, and this is like 70 patch points. So what I really like about this mini patch bay is we just added everything. So it's like every patch point possible, it's there. So CV for everything, inputs for everything. And then on the back, we have a little hacker section. So this is where if you want to reconfigure it, you can go in there and do that.
Okay, what? Great.
And you can also, there's a little microcontroller that you can reprogram. And this is all analog, but it's a microcontroller that can make sequences. so you can record and make patterns. But the signal path is entirely 100% analog, and it's really robust, time-tested, powerful, subtle analog circuits. So it has a really beautiful sound. Yeah.
Well, thank you for showing us this, and again, thanks to Vaclav for taking us through the booth. Great to see you again.